I'm gonna talk about metabolomics biomarkers of sexual development in broiler breeders. In order for broiler breeders to reach sexual maturity, they need to reach some thresholds in terms of age, body weight, body composition, and metabolic status. Metabolic status is one of the factors that can affect activation of reproductive access in broiler breeders. And growth trajectory and body composition, in fact, can affect metabolic status of birds. Objectives of our study were to evaluate the effect of maturity on plasma metabolome dynamics and to provide potential biomarkers for predicting sexual development. Our hope is that in the future there would be a device like a glucometer to measure the plasma metabolome in real time at flock level and in a matter of minutes to predict sexual development in the flock. We designed 10 different growth trajectories by increasing prepubertal and pubertal body weight gain from 2.5 all the way to 22.5% compared to the breeder recommended growth curve. We did this to create a range for age at first egg. We assigned 30 birds into 10 growth trajectories, and 6 birds were fed in an unrestricted group, or let's say ad lib. We implemented growth curves using the precision feeding system, and we collected blood from 18 to 26 weeks of age. And we used age at first egg to group the birds into pullet or hen. We used a DILC-MS method to measure the plasma metabolome. And we used different statistical analysis to explore the metabolomics data and to find the differential metabolites between pullets and hens groups. So PCA and OPLSDA methods revealed that there was a clear separation between pullets and hens in terms of plasma metabolites. We used a VIP scores method to identify the differential metabolites, and we used ROC curve analysis to evaluate the performance of biomarker models. Also, we looked at pathway analysis of differential metabolites between the pullet and hens group, and our results showed that the main metabolic pathways that are included in transition of a pullet to hen is related to lipid, energy, and amino acids metabolism. In conclusion, we found that carnitine metabolites were upregulated in hens because, carnitine metabolites are involved in mitochondrial oxidation of fatty acids. Also, choline metabolites were upregulated because they are involved in egg yolk precursors synthesis, but the plasma citric acid levels were downregulated due to increase in lipogenesis in the liver at the cost of reduced glycolysis. We are thankful for our funders, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mohammad. I remind you that if you have questions, so please type them in the question and answer box. It's nice to see you, and that was a great presentation. So I see one question popping up here. Is the plan to validate these markers in a commercial setting?
Yes, for sure, it needs to be validated in commercial. And as I mentioned in my presentation, the final goal is to design a point of care device to identify the plasma metabolome at the flock level. So instead of using a huge instrument at the lab, we are going to have a small device at the flock level to detect the sexual development status in the flock.
Thank you. And related to that question, how would producers use these markers? How do you envision that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So actually looking at age at first of egg, so we would say seeing the first egg is the easiest way, but around 2 weeks or 3 weeks before age at first egg, sexual development is happening inside the body. So if producer can detect that, so they can have an idea about the start of laying and age at first egg. And by that, you know, it will help them to evaluate their flock situation. Because sometimes we can see modern broiler breeders are lean and they don't have enough fat to come into sexual development. And it's good to know that in advance.
And thank you for that. I don't have any other questions right now in the Q&A box, but building on what you just said, I was wondering if feeding program or would adjusting the feeding program would affect your results, or would you expect to see something else? But you mentioned broiler breeders, they're quite lean. And I'm wondering if you change that up or if they were selected differently. How would you expect your results to differ?
Yeah, actually, the modern broiler breeders are lean. And the main reason is because of the intensive feed restriction going on in the broiler breeder industry. And that's why we designed this study to increase the target body weight. And for sure, diet composition can affect their body composition as well.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.